I really don't know what to say, so I'm going to turn to Nicki Arch. Nicki was falsely prosecuted by the Post Office for a crime she didn't commit. She was exonerated by a jury who took one look at the Post Office case and acquitted her, but not before Nicki lost everything: her home, her business and her mental health. Nicki, what do you make of what you just heard?
It's typical Post Office. I should be shocked. I'm not. Typical arrogant ignorance. How these people get the jobs they do on the salaries they do, I just don't know. There is no facts. He's talking. I would assume it's his personal opinion, because it certainly isn't based on the judgment. It's not based on the facts that are coming out in the inquiry, and the sooner Sir Wynn calls him to the inquiry to answer to that, the better, because he must, because it's absolutely disgusting.
What do you think of the fact that this is the Director of Communications saying this? This is someone who has the ear of the Chief Executive, who's responsible for communicating the Post Office's message internally and off the record.
Well, Nick, I mean, you've known me for a long time, and I'll never change my mind. I've totally refused to meet Nick Reed, because I've always doubted.
Nick Reed is the Chief Executive of the Post Office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's offered to have a meeting and a little chat and all the rest of it. But it's just, there's no sincerity there whatsoever, and he's just proved the point over and over again. And I'm not going to change my mind. Nothing's changed. This is what we've been fighting for 2 decades for me, and we will need to keep fighting, because other than the drama, the media, the press, etc., there is nobody else who believes us other than our own teams, and now the public. So we need the public more than ever now, because they can see them for what they are, and their arrogance and lies that they're spreading around. They've absolutely wrecked people's lives, their families' lives. The list goes on. People have gone to prison. People have committed suicide. We've lost, friends of ours. It's despicable. So to think that somebody of that calibre can talk like that, then the sooner Sir Wynn gets him onto the inquiry, at least then he can be prosecuted.
Now, we
because
obviously
he needs to be.
That's a really interesting point, Nicki, and we've been in contact with Mr. Taylor this afternoon, and he's responded by saying, "I'm deeply sorry about the terrible impact of this scandal on victims, and I've consistently apologised for all they have suffered. I sincerely apologise for any past remarks that I may have made during personal conversations which cause hurt or offence." Do you think that's enough, Nicki?
I think that's just an absolute load of rubbish. It's too little, too late. He should be done for slander. It's absolutely disgusting. He had so many facts at the tip of his fingers that he could look at any time, and yet he's spilling all this poison and feeding it down the line of all the people in the Post Office as well. If they didn't want to ruin the brand and ruin the business that the community relies on before, then he's certainly going to do it now.
Well, can I just pick you up on that, actually, Nicki? Just
senseless.
Yeah, no, I just want to pick you up on that. If you think the Post Office hasn't changed, given it's been responsible for the widest miscarriage of justice in British history, what do you think should happen to the Post Office now? If this reflects an internal sentiment within the Post Office, what happens to the Post Office going forward?
Well, there's a lot of innocent people who's working hard in post offices. His philosophy of how you run a post office, just be given 30 grand in a pretty little counter and things. It's so hard work, and their business is being destroyed right in front of their eyes, and this isn't going to help. I think they need to rebrand it. That we need hubs like that in our communities, but we don't need it called the Post Office. I think we need to rebrand it, get rid of all the dead wood in the Post Office, including the gentleman who has just spoken, Mr. Taylor, and he can take a lot more of his cronies with him, and get a fresh board, people with some common sense and decency and some governance, and actually have a proper community hub that offers people proper, useful banking services, and get rid of this poison chalice, because it's been completely destroyed, and they're continuing to do so because we just don't believe them, and
Nicki,
we're right not to.
Nicki, your anger and articulously shines through. Thank you very much for coming on the programme this
You're
evening.
welcome.
Let's get some